You know what's wild to me? People know the internet is full of garbage. They'll say it to themselves. You can't trust anything online anymore. And then in the same breath, they believe it anyways. They'll scroll past something that is obviously manipulated, obviously designed to get a reaction, and it still lands. It still sticks. And I sit there thinking, how? How are we here? That's where I want to start today. Not with a headline, not with some political hot take, just with that. That contradiction. Because I think it's at the root of almost everything that frustrates me about the world right now. We have lost our instincts. Or maybe we haven't lost them. Maybe we've just learned to ignore them. And that, to me, is actually scarier than anything.
Look who just rolled in. It's time to butter up your ears for laughs, life, and a little flaky wisdom. It's all about the biscuits with RJ.
At All About the Biscuits, we believe life's just a big old platter of toppings. Flaky, spicy, sweet, even messy. And guess what? We butter them all up and dig right in. Whether it's real talk or ridiculous rants. I'm RJ, and we're serving it hot. All topics, all biscuits, always served hot.
Welcome back to All About the Biscuits. I'm RJ. And for all you that are coming on back, you already know that. And for you that are new, I'm still RJ. This isn't a show about picking sides. It's simply about understanding what's actually going on. And thinking for yourself. No scripts, no spin, no noise. Just me with a lot of hand gestures. Just real conversations about things that actually matter. So, let's get into it. Here's something that I think a lot of people relate to, but almost nobody talks about it. Honestly, you know, someone could be in your circle, could be a coworker, doesn't matter. And something is just off. You can't name it. It's not just one thing. It's a collection of small things that in your gut is quietly cataloging every single time you're around them. The way that they carry themselves, the little comments that don't quite add up, the smile that doesn't reach the eyes. And when you bring it up to the people around you, they look at you like you're the fucking problem. No, they're fine. He's just a little quirky. And you're standing there thinking, no, I don't think so. No. There is a real difference between quirky and just a little bit off. And you guys are just not seeing it. Here's what I've come to understand about that moment. Most people are so afraid of being wrong about someone that they'd rather be naive than right. Because being right means something is actually broken. And like I've said in the past, that's uncomfortable. So they choose to look away. I get it. I do. But I can't do it. I have learned to trust that gut feeling. Not to act recklessly on it, but to trust it. Your instincts are your data. That's the information you have to go with. They are built from everything you've ever observed, everything you've ever lived through. Don't throw that away just because someone else hasn't caught up yet. And that same thing that happens with one person, just one, is happening at a much bigger level. And this isn't just about one person in your life. This is about a cultural thing that is going on right now. We've become a society that is genuinely shocked when something bad happens, even when the signs were sitting right there in front of us in fucking plain sight. You see it every single time. Something breaks in the news. People go, oh my God, I would have never guessed. And I want to ask, where were you looking? Were you actually paying attention? I don't think so, because awareness isn't paranoia. Awareness is just being present. It's being able to read the room. It's understanding that not everyone who looks trustworthy is, and not everyone who looks suspicious isn't. It's all about behavior, patterns. What someone does when they think no one's watching. The gap between what they say and what they actually do, that's where the truth lives. And we've outsourced that instinct. It's gone. We've handed it over to algorithms, headlines, and comment sections full of people we've never, ever met. And then we're surprised when we end up believing something that was never real to begin with. I swear. Let me bring this closer to home. And I mean that literally right now, right here on John's Island, right here in the Charleston area. There are people, good, well-intentioned people who ran for local office because they genuinely wanted to fix things around here. They wanted to fix, or still do, the roads, flooding. Charleston always floods, so I don't know where the water's going to go. Out of control development, yet there's still development and it's constantly moving forward. But these are real, tangible effects that take place in your daily life. And they got in. And they immediately hit a wall because SCDOT, SC owns the majority of local roads, which means local representatives can't even touch them. Communities flood because new development gets approved that never should have been. And by the time anyone can move to change a regulation, years go by, decades go by, money is wasted, and nothing has changed. Good people enter the system, and the system grinds them down. But here's the thing, and I'm not trying to say that to be cynical. I'm saying it because understanding why the system works this way is the first step to what? Demanding something different. Nobody's coming to fix it if we don't push for it ourselves. Whew, sweating on this one. I'm not picking a side here. I'm not talking about the difference between understanding something and actually reacting to it. And none of this happens in a vacuum. The reason people can't trust their own instincts anymore, the reason we're so manipulated is because there is so much fucking noise that it has to become almost impossible to find the signal. I posted a short clip recently, 30, maybe 35 seconds, talking about Iran. Geopolitics, nuclear capacity, what's actually happening to the civilians on the ground. And the comments came in hard. People telling me I was describing the United States. People telling me I was spreading propaganda. Some of those accounts had 0 followers, 0 profile photos, no history, just an account built to argue. Look, I understand the reaction. Totally. I get it. When you're only seeing 30 seconds without context, your response is going to be shaped by whatever you already believed in. And that's not stupidity. That is human nature. But here's where I draw the line. When you refuse to engage with the full picture, when you throw feelings at facts and call it debate, that's where we lose each other. Yes, undeniably, the United States has made mistakes. Some of them have been serious, and we should be honest about that as well. But there is a meaningful, substantive. Wait, let me get my thought process back. There is a meaningful. I can't even think of the word I'm trying to come up with. Substantive. Substantive. No, let me say this. But there is a meaningful difference between a country that is imperfect and a government that suppresses their people and has been accused of using lethal force against those people. Collapsing that distinction doesn't make you informed. It makes you impressive. Precision. Wait, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, what I want to say is it makes you I don't know what I'm looking for. Man, I just lost my train of thought. Anyways, it makes you just not right. And not being right is, well, I should say, not having your facts straight and putting your emotion into it. Emotions are not facts, and that can be genuinely dangerous. I watch both sides. I read both sides. Not because I'm trying to sit perfectly in the middle on every issue, because I'm not. Certain things are right, certain things are wrong. And I am very comfortable just saying it. But I want to understand before I speak. This damn wire. And that's what's missing right now. Not agreement. We don't all have to agree on everything at all. But the willingness to sit with the complexity needs to be there. Let me shift gears for just a second, because this one actually keeps me up at night. And I don't say that lightly. Since about 2012, and I don't think this is coincidental, mental health issues in this country have more than doubled. That's right. More than doubled, if not more, with depression, anxiety, self-harm, kids checking themselves into hospitals because they can't cope with being alive. And we're sitting here acting like we can't figure out why. It is not some great mystery. Meanwhile, we handed every single one of us and our kids a smartphone and said, "Here you go." have the entire internet right in your pocket. Good luck. That's not something we can just ignore. The connection is too strong to pretend it's random, yet we do. Not everybody. Not everybody. When researchers are finding that teenage girls who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media are twice as likely to experience serious mental health problems, that's a problem. That's not something you can just scroll past and fucking ignore. That's an alarm that goes off in my head. And the alarm has been going off for over a decade. And we keep hitting snooze. Yes, people bring it up. People talk in front of Congress. People have resources to help. But are we doing enough? A man by the name of Jonathan Hatt calls it the great rewiring. And that phrase sits with me because that's exactly what it is. We didn't just give kids a new toy. We helped rewire how they socialize, how they see themselves, how they measure their own worth. Instead of figuring out who they are through real experiences, falling down, getting right back up, making actual friends, having real conversations, they're doing it through a filtered, curated, highlight reel version of life that isn't even real. And they're comparing themselves to it every single day. And it's not just about how much time they're spending on it, it's how they're using it. There's this thing researchers call problematic smartphone use. When you are checking your phone compulsively, I do it too. Not going to deny it. When you feel actual anxiety if it's not in your hand, like I do, no, I tried to put it down as much as I can. And I get it. It's hard. When you can't sit in a room for just 10 minutes without reaching for it, that's not a habit anymore. That's closer to an addiction. And we're watching that happen to 12-year-olds and younger kids, and we're acting like it's normal. It's not fucking normal. Now, here's where I'm going to say something that might piss some people off. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Parents, I'm talking to you right now. And hear the argument. My kid needs a phone for safety. Okay. I get it to a point. But there is a massive difference between your kid having a way to reach you in an emergency and your kid having unrestricted access to the internet, social media, comment sections, and every stranger on the planet who wants to find them. Those are not the same thing. And we're treating them like they are. You know, we grew up without smartphones. And we survived. We had street smarts. We learned how to read a room, how to pick up on when, something felt wrong, stranger danger, how to navigate the world with open eyes. Think for yourself. And don't outsource your understanding of the world to people who benefit from confusing you. And I'm not trying to be that guy who says everything was better back then, because it wasn't. But we learned things you can't only learn on a phone. We learn things by being present, by being bored sometimes, by having to figure it out without Googling the answer in 3 seconds. Too many kids today are not getting that. And a big part of why is that screens have become the babysitter. Mom and dad are tired. I get it. Life is hard. Parenting is exhausting. And when let me back up. And when screens start doing more of the raising than we are, that's where we need to take a step back. And the problem doesn't show up right away. It shows up years later when that kid doesn't know how to handle rejection, doesn't know how to have a hard conversation, doesn't know how to exist in silence without feeling like they're falling apart. And then there's the darker side of this that nobody wants to say out loud, but I'm going to say it anyways, and there are others that do as well. When kids are online, unsupervised, predators are watching. There are people out there looking for that access. And we can't pretend that risk isn't there. That's just reality. They're using every trick in the book to get access to kids whose parents think they're safe. Because there's a parental control app on the phone? Come on. Those things are not enough. They have never been enough. And the social media companies, they already know it. They've always known it, which really pisses me off. They built these platforms to be addictive for adults and then let kids walk right in. And that's not an accident. That's pure negligence. And at some point, there has to be real regulation with real teeth that actually protects children. Not just a checkbox, not a terms of service that a 10-year-old clicks through in 2 seconds like the rest of us. So here's where I always land, and I want to be straight with you about this. I honestly don't have all the answers, and I honestly don't think anybody else does either. But the question we need to start asking isn't just what's broken, it's what do we do about it? Outrage is easy. Identifying the problem is easy. You can fill a 2-hour show every single week just pointing at broken things. But if you're not bringing a solution to the table, you're just adding to the noise. And Lord knows we have enough of that already. I believe in doing the research from both sides, not just one that confirms what the other already is thinking. I believe in trusting your gut by testing it against real information, real life. I believe in keeping a small, honest inner circle, not because you're antisocial, but because that takes discipline. Knowing who deserves access to trust your information is one of the most underrated skills a person can build. And when it comes to our kids, we start with delaying it. Don't give your kid a smartphone with full internet access in middle school. There is no good reason for it. I'll say it again. There is no good reason to give a kid in middle school a smartphone. Keep phones out of bedrooms at night, just like our TVs. A bedroom is for sleep. Replace the screen time with face-to-face time, with boredom, with actual life. And have honest conversations with your kids about what's actually out there. Not to scare them, but to arm them. Because here's the thing. We can talk all day long about politics. We can talk all day long about broken systems. We can talk about government and media and all of it. But if we don't get this right, if we don't figure out how to raise a generation that can actually think and feel and communicate and cope, none of the other stuff matters. We are building on a cracked foundation. And I believe that we can disagree, genuinely, passionately disagree, and still share the understanding that we're all trying to figure it out together. That's not weakness. That's not being naive. That's the only honest way we move forward that I know. Thank you for listening. I know I got a little hot, a little tone there. If this episode made you think, share it with someone else who needs to hear it. You can find us at www.allaboutthebiscuits.com on the interwebs, or subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Until next time, eyes open. And remember, think for yourself and don't outsource your understanding of the world.
Thanks for pulling up a chair with us at All About the Biscuits. Remember, life's messy, flaky, and sometimes sweet, but we're in it together. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, leave a review, and pass the plate to a friend. See you next time.